please. No, please.
Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It is the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being.
And look, the world has changed. Technology has changed. The way people view films have changed. Where they view them. What is a film anyway?
When I sit down to watch a movie, I see the clapper's ghost before every shot. I want to go in and re-edit the movie rather than let it play before my eyes.
I will destroy you!
I've got a huge library of movie files on my computer. I think, what if Al Pacino was in Taxi Driver instead of Robert De Niro? I see that images are everywhere, even in places I'd never expect.
This is your daily tech and business briefing from Cheddar.
When images are given away like this, how can they have any value? It is hard to trust what I'm seeing. I won't even use my backup camera when I put my car in reverse. I don't believe the images are honest. I don't believe the images are honest.
Give us adequate images. We lack adequate images.
Superhero movie CGI effects tell me this is real. This is there. But I can't feel that to be true. The images don't convince me. In this oversaturated movie landscape, I look up to the films of Martin Scorsese. Scorsese has always made films that are benchmarks for acclaim. Taxi Driver, Palme d'Or at Cannes, one of the best films of the 1970s. Raging Bull, voted best film of the 1980s. Goodfellas, voted best film of the 1990s. The Departed, best picture Oscar in the 2000s. Scorsese has also said he doesn't watch many movies these days because the images lack meaning. He says, there's oversaturation, particularly in our world as it is now, and nothing really does have a meaning. Images, for example, are everywhere. Cinema used to be in a building, and even on television you'd see a film or whatever. I must say that of all the films that I'm aware of, I don't see many new ones over the past 2 or 3 years. I stopped because the images don't mean anything.
But I don't get it. I mean, or at least let me put it this way: I've seen 1 or 2. That's enough, because it's the same thing over and over. And people were saying, "Oh, you don't like those films." It's not that I don't like them. They've got real cinema on the run, so to speak. The filmmakers of substance need support. It's very difficult for films of substance or attempted, how should I say? I don't want to use the word personal vision, but I have. It doesn't mean it's not entertaining, right? But these projects, where can they be shown?
Streaming has gone from being cinema's greatest threat to becoming its only hope for salvation. But in the already crowded marketplace of movies, putting your precious film online is a bit like this. Plentiful images stream wherever there is internet. Images wantonly added to my various feeds are consumed and thrown away. The internet renders all movie imagery equally important and equally worthless.
What I'm afraid of is the tendency for everything to go by quickly. I'm afraid of what it does to the culture. A sense of consuming something and throwing it away, as opposed to being enveloped with something.
The fact that we can swipe still images into motion blurs the distinction between still and moving imagery. Which brings me to this. Cinema is toilet paper. So precious, yet so banal. How many people flush a movie from their minds soon after they have seen it? Sure, it's not a perfect metaphor, but there's nothing stopping people from taking their time with toilet paper, studying it, looking at it over and over again, and even talking about how it feels with their friends. Nobody does that. When there is a steady stream of product, you don't question it, you just use it. That's the culture. There's no time to stop and think about what you watch because there's always something new enticing you to move on to the next thing. I find myself trapped in a mental Ouroboros. Cinema is not Marvel because Marvel is disposable, but toilet paper is cinema because toilet paper is precious. Yet still, I use it without thinking. There's so much to get through. Toilet paper is easy to come by, but right now it's scarce, like real cinema. I can't think of anything I want more of. A 12-pack of toilet paper retails around $5 and lasts for a month, depending on the size of your household. A monthly subscription to a streaming service is roughly the same amount. Everyone uses toilet paper to shit, and then they throw it away. Cinema is something I need, yet I take it for granted. Since most toilet paper is white, soft, and comes on a roll, we believe all toilet paper is essentially no different from any other. It's something we consume as part of our daily routine without giving it a second thought. Streaming promises unlimited content to choose from, but your options somehow all have that kind of sameness about them. And knowing you have plenty more options than you need, you then of course try to use as much of what there is as possible. Images are there for us to grab at any time of day or night. You know you will have some kind of experience, possibly the same experience, so you'll grab whatever is within reach. Scrolling faster results in a kind of visual diarrhea. Scorsese says, "We're just completely saturated with images that don't mean anything. Words certainly don't mean anything anymore. They're twisted and turned. So where's the meaning? Where's the truth?"
So I can see what he's trying to say. Are the comic book movies that we know and love? Are they One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Are they 12 Angry Men? Are they Wizard of Oz? No. Are Citizen Kane? No. At the same time, they are to our generation.
This guy suggests that cinema is a thing that can only exist in the distant past, like cinema is a designation reserved only for the very best classic films. Cinema is still being made in the world today. Some people don't want to look for it. You might have to lift up a rock, and there could be a snake under there.
You're now making movies for 16-year-olds and China. And that's it.
Cinema itself is an international idea, while superhero movies are almost strictly Hollywood. Cinema means something regardless of what country you're from. And at some point, superhero movies themselves will be replaced. And Martin Scorsese is in his late 70s, and there may not be many people after him who even use the word cinema, like it means something other than just movies.
Come on, this will be fun. I want to have some fun. Digital projections, that's just television in public. And apparently the whole world is okay with television in public, but what I knew as cinema is dead.
Okay, we'll take questions from the audience.
Will we need to, at some point, redefine perhaps what is cinema?
Well, now, okay, you're looking at me.
Video pirates! Man the guns and prepare to defend borders!
Cinema was born in theaters. When theaters die and everything only streams, a drop of blood in 1 million parts water will attract only sharks. Will the theatrical experience survive the age of social distancing?
The original conception of what a film is and where it's to be seen has now changed so radically. Something that should always be protected as much as possible, and I think will always be there, is a communal experience. And I think that's best in a theater. Now, homes are becoming theaters too.
One of Scorsese's greatest collaborators had this to say.
People were going to the cinema on a weekly basis to try to understand the social upheaval that was happening all around them. And the moment a society turns to artists for answers, they're going to have great art. Great art bloomed because people wanted it. Now, it's very hard to feel that the audience wants anything from you.
I want to believe in movies again. I know how distressing it is to run out of options.
What makes cinema?
I think what makes cinema to me, I think ultimately it's something that for some reason stays with you, so that a few years later you could watch it again, or 10 years later you watch it again and it's different. In other words, there's more to learn about yourself or about life.